What's going on YouTube today? We are going to be putting in a new shifter cable. On the last video, I was having some problems getting the car to go into park. Well, come to find out, the shifter linkage has got a lot of slop in it, and it's not supposed to. So I went out and got another B&M. This is their heavy duty cable. It's supposed to be hold up better. It's a bigger physical cable, and it has no slop in it. I mean, it's tight. So I think mine's just wore out. I've had it in the car since I went automatic, so it's been in there for quite a few years. Seen a lot of abuse, and it's just a standard cable that came with a kit. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this big HD cable in and see if we can get park to work a little better. We're also doing oil change. We got our 2050 weight, and I'm going to be adding some water wetter in the coolant system. I'm probably gonna put 2 bottles in to see if we can get some type of coolant drop. I was gonna take thermostat out. I think I'm not gonna do that now. I don't think that's really gonna help all that much. It might make it to where it takes longer to heat up, but I still think on a longer cruise it's still gonna heat up. So I think what I really need is vents in the hood. I need like louvers. And I know Racetrack makes the really big ones that go right in the center. I'm not a big fan of them. I don't really like how they look, but I might have to go that route. Other option is I contacted Bailey, and we might do a hood dump, because the reason why the car gets so warm. And just look at how crammed everything is. So that's a 4-inch exhaust pipe that wraps down around the front of the motor. And then it comes down around the front of the oil area in the oil pan, and it dumps back here towards the firewall. So that is a lot of heat right at the front of the motor, and that's literally where the air is coming in. You know, I have a CSF radiator, I have a very large intercooler, and I do have a transcooler that sits over here. But I really do think it's a combination of the turbo stuff just getting extremely hot, and it has nowhere to go. So I just have a lot of heat under here. Again, I'm really torn between, you know, doing a really shorty hood dump that would just come right here. That would obviously relieve a lot of that exhaust going around the motor. And I think it would definitely help out a lot. But I definitely think some type of vent system would probably help even more. Talking to a couple of road race buddies, and yeah, so we'll see. I'm still on the fence about it. Also, I mean, if you really think about it, we only have a couple of weeks of like really high heat, so I could just leave it, see how it runs, you know, once the fall comes and the winter comes, and see if I'm still having like 215 degree cruising temps. I may not, it may be fine. I think it's not like that because it's been 90 some out degrees, and it's just been really, really hot. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll try to show you guys the difference in the play. Let me see if I can put something on this. All right, so that there, that's all play. That's not moving. And that's a significant amount of play. Then here's the new one. It's really hard to do this with 2 hands. Let me set you up here real quick. Now listen to this. Almost no play at all. Like almost zero. So we're gonna see if this takes care of my park problem. Got park back, so we're in first, second, neutral, lockout, reverse, park. back into neutral, or back into reverse, neutral, second, first. So we got it back. So I think it was majority of my issue was the loose cable. You have to get the linkage in the eye loop, and you can't have stress on it. You can burn up transmission. So first and second, you need it to be, loose. Well, when it would go all the way into park, which is all the way forward, the cable had so much slop in it that it wasn't able to actually push it the rest of the way through. So the new cable fixed that issue. It's nice and tight. I also noticed like down on this crimp area where it's supposed to be crimped, it's all disconnected here. So yeah, I just think this cable was coming apart. I mean, I've had it since I went auto, and it's just the regular factory B&M that came with a shifter. So we upgraded to a little bit heavy duty. We got some 2050. So went out and got a little bit of 70. We're gonna do 5 quarts of 2050, and we're gonna throw 1 quart of 70 in. Well guys, we got my oil changed over. We got the cable in. It goes right into park now, no problem. And got 2050 in with a thing of 70. Oil pressure is looking better. Feeling better about the oil pressure. 30 to 35-ish at idle. 30-ish when it's getting kind of hot. And then cruising to 70, 80, and 90 some at redline. So I like it. Took it down the road. I did a little test hit on the radials, real soft leave. And it felt good. All right. We got our plastics. We're gonna put that in there. So I got the new plastics, and as you can see, this lower tray has these cool fins, these vents, and they're supposed to pull air out from underneath the radiator. It helps kind of makes like a vacuum, I guess, when you're moving to draw air into the front of the car. So I got that, plus I got the side deal, because mine's all cut up from several different front-mounted combinations that I had over the years, including when it was supercharged a long time ago. So we're doing all new front plastics to see if it helps with the airflow to the radiator and to see if I don't get warm driving. So it's a weeknight. I'm gonna try to put these on. I'm gonna try to go for a cruise. We'll see how long it takes, but it is kind of a pain to pull the front end up. I gotta pull the whole bumper off, the whole front main intercooler. So we're gonna get to it and put you guys on a time lapse and check it out. All right, so as you can see here, I have gaping holes on both sides, and that's not good because it's not directing the air where it needs to go. So it's literally rushing in there, and it can just rush right out the side. So what we need to do is I'm going to need to cut really flush to where these are at, and that way it will guide the air better. So I was working here and I noticed my coupler was cracked pretty bad. So I have another one I want to throw a new coupler on, but that's just the things you find. Maintenance items. This one over here is one of those really thick bulgy ones, and I'd like to have that everywhere. So I might order some more of these. They're also like they're much thicker than these. You can see the difference. This one's gonna have to do for now, but I need to get some more of these. All right, we got our holes drilled. Much smaller than those. That was a little ridiculous. So these will go right around the pipes. So now, I gotta put that guy in there. Time lapse. got way smaller holes now on both sides. So that's good. I'm gonna clamp these up. Go ahead and install the subframe. All right, so as you see, I need to cut the sides because of the charge pipes to try to get this in. That's probably why I got rid of this in the first place, but we're gonna cut what we gotta cut to get this to fit. All right, guys. All right, guys, show and tell. Here we go. We got our plastics in. We got our little ducts in here. So apparently what's supposed to happen is wind's coming into the car, it overpasses this, and these cause like a vacuum suction to draw hot air out of the radiator engine bay area. We also have these guys. So this is supposed to help. This actually has them clear from one end all the way to the other. So one thing left to do is put my my splitter on, which the splitter only comes back to here. So it stops right here. So then the vents are still open. So we had to cut here to get the piping in. I'm not really gonna be able to bolt these up. So these are just gonna kind of sit up in there. But this tray is nice and full now. It doesn't have big holes in the side. So we should be able to get a good pull here. So I'm gonna put it all back together and take it for a drive. All right, so we just got back from our test drive, and it's obviously nighttime. It's a little cooler out, but it stayed pretty cool. It stayed under 200 degrees the whole trip. I did 3 or 4 open throttle pulls to get it warm, and then I cruised just to see what it'd do, and the temp was coming down. So not really gonna know until I go out on like a warm day to really test it. Obviously it's a little cooler out, it's nighttime. I think it's low 80s, high 70s right now. You know, I was having the issues with really hot 90-degree days, but so far it kind of seems like it was helping while I was cruising. It did seem like the coolant temperature was recovering easier. So it may have worked. So just to let you guys know, those plastics are fairly important. I was talking to a couple of guys, Jimmy from JW, and then James, a road course buddy, and even Jason Wadworth. So I was talking to him, and they're all kind of saying how the plastics are pretty important to suck out all that hot air. So I just obviously drag car, and honestly when I was like supercharged and stuff, I didn't really have a problem. It wasn't until I went turbo, and you have a lot of engine bay heat. You gotta get that out. So I think it is helping. I'll be able to talk more on it maybe in later videos on a hotter day, but that's gonna wrap it up tonight. I'm toast, I need to get to bed, and I gotta work tomorrow. So I will see you guys at the airport this weekend. Come on out, we'll be there. Appreciate it. Comment, like, subscribe as always, guys. Appreciate it so much. Thank you. I will see you guys in the next video.